If manifestation techniques actually work the way they are taught, wouldn't everyone who practices them consistently be wildly successful by now? Think about it. There are millions of people doing affirmations, visualizations, mental rehearsals, meditating, yet most struggle to create the lives that they want. I spent years in the exact same trap. I was technique hopping, but more techniques doesn't mean better results. I was information gathering so much that I was constantly searching for the missing piece that would make everything click. I followed all the gurus, right? Did all the practices and still found myself hitting an invisible ceiling. Then it clicked. I realized, and I'm in the industry as well, that the manifestation industry, has an interest in keeping you confused and searching for more information, because confused people, complexity, sells courses. Confused people buy more courses, attend more seminars, and they want to keep coming back for more and more and more. And so today I'm going to cut through all the noise and show you the one neurological principle that makes manifestation work. Okay? This isn't another technique to add to your collection, but it is the fundamental mechanism that either makes all those techniques work or cause them to fail. So please take some notes, listen carefully, and I'll show you how to replace years of complicated manifestation practices with one single science-based approach that targets the actual neural pathways responsible for creating your reality. So if you're tired of information overload and ready for actual results, then this video is the one that you've been waiting for. But before we begin, if you are serious about manifestation and want to master the process without any complexity, so you can achieve more, all while doing less, check out the free resources down below in the description box, okay? Now look, let's be honest. Let's be honest about what's happening in the manifestation world right now. It has become an information arms race. And I know you've experienced it. Try this frequency. You need to raise your vibration. You got to use this crystal. You got to say these exact words, or you got to affirm it robotically. Stand on one foot while visualizing money coming down from the sky. Look, I'm only half joking. The techniques keep getting more and more complex, more esoteric, and more frankly, more ridiculous. For real. And we keep buying into them because, well, what if this is the missing piece? Right? What if this is a technique that will make everything click? And I was that person. My bookshelf was just half-read manifestation books. My email was flooded with secret techniques from every guru. My credit card statements was secretly funding several spiritual teachers. All of their luxurious lifestyles, I was secretly funding them. But here's the truth, and nobody in the manifestation industry wants you to know this. But more information leads to worse results. Yep, I said it. It's not just counterintuitive, but it's neurologically accurate. Because your brain isn't designed for 37 manifestation techniques simultaneously. It's like trying to drive a car while following directions from 13 different GPS systems, all shadowing different routes. Well, you're going to end up, paralyzed, overanalyzing, and you're going to be afraid to move into any direction. You actually put so much more pressure on yourself. And that's exactly where most people get stuck. Technique hopping, information overload, more techniques. Constantly chasing the next shiny manifestation method while never fully embodying any of them. Now, to understand why most manifestation techniques fail, we need to look at what's actually happening in your brain when you try to manifest something. Okay? Now, your brain operates through neural pathways, essentially. Okay? Neural pathways. And they are, the simple way I can describe it is highways of electrical impulses that determine how you actually respond to life. Electrical pulses. These pathways weren't created overnight. They are results of years, decades of repetitive thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and experiences. 30 years of scarcity. If you have spent 30 years operating from lack, scarcity, like I did, that's like having a 10-lane superhighway of not enough running through your brain. And then you think a 20-minute meditation is going to simply override 30 years of lack. You're going to expect results quickly. Come on. It's like trying to redirect a river with a popsicle stick. You know what I mean? Good luck with that. But here's where it gets interesting, and listen carefully. Your brain doesn't actually care about the content of your thoughts. It cares about the neurological state those thoughts create. Let me say that again. Your brain doesn't care what you think. It cares about the neurological state your thinking creates. That's why you can repeat, "I am wealthy," until you're blue. But that affirmation doesn't change. If that affirmation doesn't change your neurological state, it's just noise. Because your brain filters it out like background traffic. Which brings us to the concept of intellectual understanding versus neurological understanding. Neurological embodiment, to be more specific. Most manifestation trainings give you intellectual understanding. Okay? You learn the concepts, you understand the theory, you know what you should be doing. Oh, I need to visualize with emotion. I need to feel grateful in advance. I need to act as if it's already happened. Okay? And I used to get caught up in this as well. Like, great, you understand it intellectually, but has that understanding changed your neurological state? Has it changed your identity? Has it rewired your default neural pathways? For most people, the answer is no. And that is the gap no one is talking about. How can I hardwire this into my being? Well, remember when you first learned to drive? Right at the beginning, when you were in Australia, we have L-platers, learner plates. At first, it was very mechanical and intellectual. You know what I mean? You had to consciously think about every single step. Okay, mirrors, let me adjust my mirrors. All right, my signaling in my blind spot is easy. Okay, ease off the brake. Move into the first gear. Stop gripping my steering wheel so tight. You know what I mean? That's what I used to do. The examiner was like, bro, chill. Like, relax a little bit. It was exhausting, right? But now, you can drive while having a full conversation, listening to a podcast, maybe even putting your own makeup on. I've seen some ladies on the road, huh? Because driving is no longer intellectual, but it has now embodied neurologically in you. And this is exactly what needs to happen with manifestation. It needs to move from intellectual understanding into neurological embodiment. And that's where most trainings miss completely. For years, I struggled to manifest consistently, right? Consistent income in my business. Look, I'd have a great month followed by 2 terrible months, up and down cycle. And this was killing me. You know what I mean? It affected my relationships, especially with women. I tried everything. Vision boards, affirmations, meditation. I meditated a lot about being a successful entrepreneur, visualizing clients signing up, but nothing worked consistently. Then I noticed something interesting. The months where money flowed easily weren't the months where I visualized harder or affirmed more. They were the months I naturally embodied a different neurological state or a different identity. My breathing was different. My posture was different. How I spoke had a different resonance. I was making decisions differently. I wasn't trying to manifest money. I was neurologically aligned with abundance. I was the living, breathing embodiment of abundance. This was a breakthrough manifestation. This was the breakthrough, because manifestation isn't about, what you do for 20 minutes during the meditation, but it's about the neurological state you embody for the rest of the 23 hours and 40 minutes of the day. When I realized this, everything changed. Stopped focusing on techniques and started focusing on embodiment. And within 90 days, my income had tripled and, more importantly, stabilized. Now you might be wondering, how does this work? Well, there's a feedback loop. And it starts with your understanding of how your brain creates and reinforces neural pathways. Okay? Your brain operates on a feedback loop. It starts with first your neurological state, and then it moves down to the experiences you create. And now it becomes your new state of being, your reinforced state of being. Now, if you're in a state of lack, you'll notice you create experiences that reinforce scarcity, lack, right? Which attracts more experiences, more lack experiences, more scarcity experiences, and round and round we go. Oh my God, I'm in lack. Oh my God, I just got another bill. Oh my God, this is who I am. Oh. The key to breaking this cycle isn't adding another manifestation technique. It's interrupting the feedback loop deliberately and embodying a new neurological state. And this is not fake it till you make it. This is neurologically becoming the person who already has what you want to manifest. Embody the new state first. And here's the beautiful part. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between a real experience and one that is vividly imagined while in the embodied new state. This is why visualization sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. When you visualize while embodying the correct neurological state, then your brain registers it as real. When you visualize from your current limited state, then your brain knows it's fantasy, right? Your brain will know, your nervous system will know. And here's how to apply this in your life. So write this down. So let's say old state. This is your old state. Let's say you want to manifest $10,000 in your business, right? This month. The traditional approach would be visualize clients paying you. Affirm that you attract money easily. Maybe create a vision board with $10,000 written on it. That's fine, but it's missing the critical element. Neurological embodiment. Okay? Instead, try this. I want you to close your eyes and ask yourself, how would I feel if I were already a person who consistently generates $10,000 per month? You can do that right now. Close your eyes. How would I feel if I was a person who consistently generates $10,000 per month? Would your breathing be deeper because you're so much more relaxed? Would your shoulders just drop down and just relax? There's no more tension. Would you move more deliberately? Would you speak more slowly and confidently? Would you be calm, peaceful, and relaxed? Now, instead of just trying to visualize the money, embody these neurological changes. Breathe that way. Hold your body that way. Move that way. Speak that way. Make decisions that way. Because when you continue to practice those new states of beings, it will become your default state. Do this for 5 to 10 minutes every morning, and then, this is important, you got to catch yourself throughout the day when you slip back into your old self. Oh, I'm breathing shallowly again. Oh, here I am overthinking about how I'm going to get clients. Right? Oh shit, I'm speaking too quickly. Let me shift back to my new identity, to my new embodied identity. This consistent reinforcement is what creates your new default neural pathways. And when these neural pathways become your new default, oh my God, manifestation becomes effortless. But let's talk about that later on. I'm not talking about just feeling good. You know what I mean? It's not just about feeling good here. I'm talking about measurable results. But we'll get to that later on. That's the last part. And this is a principle that I did in my own business, because when I stabilized within 90 days of embodying that new identity, I went from $15,000 per month to $25,000 months. But here's what's even more interesting. How the money came was completely different from what I had been visualizing. I'd been focusing on getting clients through my existing offers, but once I aligned my new neurological state with consistent abundance, opportunities came to me in different directions. And I would have never considered it. They came from speaking engagements, being invited to them, partnership deals, passive income streams, crypto, so much more. And this is another sign the process is working. Because when your manifestation exceeds your conscious imagination, because your nervous system, when properly aligned, can attract possibilities that your conscious mind can't even comprehend or conceive, better than your imagination, right? This is the infinite intelligence at work. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, this sounds great, but what if it doesn't work for me? Well, first understand that the results vary based on how deeply ingrained your current neural pathways are. If you have been operating from scarcity lack for the last 30 years like I did, look, it might take longer than someone who has been operating by that pattern just for 5 years. Maybe they had a bankruptcy in their business or whatever. But here's the good news. Neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new neural pathways, remains strong throughout your entire life, not just when you're a kid. Because your brain is always capable of change, regardless of your age, or how long you've been stuck in certain patterns. Remember that. You are capable of change no matter when or what, wherever you are in life. If you're not seeing changes, there are 3 most common issues. Well, because firstly, you're practicing a neurological embodiment inconsistently, right? This isn't just a once off a day meditation. It is a throughout the day practice, like Dr. Joe says. You got to keep catching yourself and realigning. The second one is you are trying to, I actually did this. Yeah. You are trying to embody too many states at once, and you have to focus on one specific area. Okay? Just focus on one state. Now, here's a big one. You're thinking about it intellectually and you're not embodying it. Right? You're just thinking about it. It's a subtle, crucial difference, but you need to feel the shift in your nervous system and not just think about it. The timeline for this results typically look like within the first week, you will notice yourself becoming more aware of your default with your old identity. First, you will become aware of your old identity. Holy shit, this is what I'm doing. Okay? And then within 2 to 4 weeks, it's easier to shift out of them. Okay? And then day 30 to day 90, oh my God, manifestation galore. It has now become your default system that things are just coming to you with ease. And here's something more incredible about this approach. It compounds, let me stand here, over time. All right, listen carefully for this. Because when you embody a new neurological state and manifest from it, your brain builds confidence in the process. This makes the next manifestation easier and next one even easier. Boom. Okay? You got a small bump and then your brain builds confidence and then eventually becomes automatic. And then your manifestation abilities skyrocket. And there might be a tipping point where your brain has to trust the process. But then that's when manifestation becomes your default setting. Not something you have to work for at all. At first, you do. You have to use a lot of willpower, but then it just becomes default. And I experienced this myself after I mastered embodying the neurological state of consistent 15K per month. Shifting to 30K per month was much easier because my brain already had evidence that neurological embodiment works. So it offered less resistance to that new state. And that's strengthening your manifestation muscle. Simple as that. That is why people who seem to be naturally lucky or who manifest easily aren't special. They have simply reached this compounding phase where their brain automatically aligns with what they want to create. And the good news, anyone can get there with consistent practice of neurological embodiment. Okay, let's bring this full circle. The manifestation industries thrives on complexity because it sells courses. But effective manifestation is actually simple. Not necessarily easy, but it is simple. It's about neurological embodiment, not intellectual understanding. It's about creating new default neural pathways, not adding more techniques. It's about who you become, not what you do. And I spent years and thousands of dollars figuring this out the hard way. And I want to share it with you now because I don't want you to waste the same time and effort like I did. If this resonated with you, if you're tired of, information overload and ready for actual results, and I've created something that might help. Now, it's called the Rapid Identity Shift, and it's my system, my proven system that me and my clients get results. I am the product of my own service. Now, it's specifically designed to create neurological embodiment for consistent manifestation results. Okay? It's not another technique to add to your collection, it's a complete replacement for the complexity that you've been drowning in. Because we start off as your old identity, and then we implement the Rapid Identity Shift, and you become your new identity very quickly, and then you will get consistent results for whatever it is you're wanting to create. And if you would love to experience that, then please book an alignment call with me if you want to check it out. No pressure either way. This video alone gives you the fundamental principle that changed everything for me. You can absolutely run with it just with this information itself. But if you want to go deeper with this work, then I am here to help. Book an alignment call with me and I would be honored to help you create your desired reality. Manifestation isn't about forcing the external world to conform to your wishes, but it's about aligning your neurological state with the reality you want to experience. And when you do that consistently, the external world naturally reorganizes around your new state of being.